Welcome back to the Hot 790 News. Thank you for staying with us. Babies and toddlers should not be left to passively watch TV or other screens. That's according to new guidelines by the World Health Organization. The WHO says sedentary screen time, including computer games, should not happen before a child is 2. The limit for 2 to 4-year-olds is an hour a day and less is better. The new WHO advice focuses on passive viewing, youngsters being placed in front of a TV or computer screen or handed a tablet or mobile phone for entertainment, and it is aimed at tackling child inactivity, a leading risk factor for global mortality and obesity-related ill health. It is the first time that the World Health Organization has made recommendations on physical activity, sedentary behavior, and sleep for children under 5. As well as warning against passive screen time, the WHO says babies should not spend longer than an hour at a time strapped into a buggy, car seat, or sling. The Ministry of Youth Development and Sports convened a press conference on Wednesday to announce the shortlisted nominees for the 2018 Annual Youth Awards. Rochelle Gonzalez tells us more in this report.
The most outstanding youth in the performing arts is Andreas Adrian.
The National Youth Awards is set to take place on Saturday, the 27th of April at the Financial Administrative Center at Point Seraphin, and the names of the shortlisted nominees have been released. This was done on Wednesday during a press conference hosted by the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports. Mary Wilfred, who is the Director of Youth within the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports, said the award ceremony rewards and celebrates young people for their efforts during the year 2018. The month of April is celebrated annually as Youth Month and culminates with the award ceremony.
We would have informed you is to recognize and celebrate the efforts and achievements of young people throughout St. Lucia. We have approximately 17 categories this year, ranging from entrepreneurship, innovation and technology, young people in community work, young people in social development. We also recognize district youth and sports councils, students' councils, outstanding student leaders. We recognize faith-based groups and individuals. We also look at young people who have living with a physical disability. So we try to be broad in all the categories that we have, so that we do not leave any young person behind.
Wilfred said she anticipates a night of excitement.
As usual, the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports give young people the opportunity on that night to be the MCs, to be the orators. They are involved in shaping up the entire program for the night. As well, they would be the ones doing the presentation in song, in dance, on the musical instruments, in spoken word. So we hope that on Saturday it's going to be a very good event, and I know that many young people are looking forward to our National Youth Awards on Saturday.
Wilfred went on to list a few of the nominees.
In terms of our nominations, our highest number of nominees were from the performing arts. We have at least 9 nominees in that category. For our second highest nomination, we did receive that from community organizations doing community work. And then we also had many nominations coming from social development, young people in social development. For Youth of the Year, some of our nominees this year, I can give you that. We have Kithlyn Carew, Anita Felix, Krishna St. Bryce, Junior Delise, and Sue Ann Shalry.
On screen, you will find the names of the other shortlisted nominees. The Director of Youth said in the near future, plans will be put in place to allow nominations to be made online. This way, she said, the nominations will be much broader. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
Thank you very much, Rochelle. St. Lucia and Jamaica are two countries in which a new pilot project will be launched to explore interventions that can be carried out to bolster both the agricultural and trade sector. This pilot project looks to identify key opportunities in both agriculture and trade and work towards enhancing them using new emerging technology. Solange Alfred tells us more.
Supporting agricultural trade within the Caribbean is top priority for two analysts from Edinburgh University. The two individuals aim to use both St. Lucia and Jamaica to roll out a pilot project to identify areas of enhancement for agricultural trade on a regional level. Lecturer and researcher at University of Edinburgh, Larissa Pritchetts, says the focus will remain on the implementation of an idea called blockchain.
One of the things that we realized, and that's something that, there's something that came out of meetings with people from the Caribbean, is that there is a need to enhance regional and local trade. And we believe that services and perhaps a service that is supported by blockchain technologies could help enhance local trade, building trust, and perhaps automating some transactions.
So, what is blockchain? According to a paper published by Larissa Pritchetts and collaborators entitled Blockchain City, Economic, Social and Cognitive Ledgers, blockchain is defined as the sealed distributed ledger that supports the Bitcoin cryptocurrency. Design developer Billy Dixon of University of Edinburgh says that running a blockchain system for trade purposes in the Caribbean is highly feasible given the proper infrastructure is in place.
Blockchain is a way of securing interactions and transactions and making transactions more sort of accountable, and making people who sell things or trade things more accountable for what they do. So that could be used in the Caribbean for essentially, if it was talking about street vendors, they could have a rating system with each other, and sort of transactions could be paid possibly electronically with mobile phones if that infrastructure is in place.
Ultimately, international specialist in agribusiness and value chains for Inter-American Institute for Cooperation and Agriculture, based in St. Lucia, Alistair Glean, says agribusiness in the Caribbean comes with its own unique challenges. He notes that the pilot project may provide agribusiness with the proper framework needed to access funds from lending institutions.
Some persons complain about ensuring the security of their payments, on-time payments, etc. And for the farmers who have challenges accessing financing, maybe there's an opportunity to come to show financing agencies we have a record of transactions, and they may more be inclined to provide financing to farmers because they know these payments are coming in on time, this is a record of the transactions, so there's tremendous opportunity to solve this challenge of financing for small producers in the region.
The analysts note that the expertise and economic development are already in place for a blockchain system to operate at a certain level within St. Lucia. However, continued research through their pilot project looks to identify all factors involved. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
The Ministry of Health is calling on members of the public this immunization week to come forward and receive vaccinations for what they call preventable diseases and infections. Vaccines remain the most cost-effective method of preventing and even eradicating diseases.
Immunization remains the most cost-effective and efficient public health strategy used to ensure the reduction and prevention of diseases. At a recent press briefing, Ministry of Health officials touted the importance of getting vaccinated as a preventative mechanism that lessens the burden of healthcare to the island. Medical Officer of Health Sharon Belmar George stated the many ways that immunization has greatly benefited the Caribbean region.
We have seen it with the eradication of some diseases, as we've seen with smallpox, the elimination of some diseases, as we've seen with measles in certain parts of the region. It also, as we said, the prevention of disease, so it reduces morbidity and mortality in terms of the number of persons within your community getting certain diseases, which also means a reduction in terms of hospitalization and hospital stay, in terms of the cost of the medication, treatment, the care that some of those patients would need, and also results in a reduction in the mortality of diseases. We've seen great reductions of a lot of diseases with the implementation of vaccination in 1977 here in St. Lucia.
Providing a historical background, Belmar George revealed by 1980, St. Lucia formed part of PAHO Revolving Fund, allowing for the safe procurement of vaccinations through the Pan-American Health Organization.
We ensure that the vaccines that we bring in through this fund are very effective and they are also very safe to our population. We also monitor our children who receive those vaccines. So the Ministry of Health and Wellness, as we have had since 1977, we provide those vaccines at our 36 centers, that is 33 wellness centers, 2 community hospitals and polyclinics, to the population free of charge. We are committed to ensuring the availability of those vaccines to reduce the burden of vaccine-preventable diseases on the population.
Additionally, Assistant Principal Nursing Officer Tekla Jabaptiste stated briefly the Ministry of Health's increased immunization of influenza vaccination works towards warding off outbreaks on island.
Yeah, we also had an increase in the influenza vaccine to our high-risk groups, which would be our persons with chronic diseases, our healthcare workers, our frontline line responders like the firemen, the police officers. So we continue to promote vaccination as a public good, not just a personal good, but as a public good, because it does protect outbreaks, it prevents outbreaks in populations. So we want to continue to use this forum every year to be able to promote vaccination and its importance in protecting our population.
Meanwhile, Belmar George went on to reference the important role that immunization plays in decreasing certain types of cancers. She noted, for example, hepatitis B vaccine assisted in the reduction of cancer of the liver. The medical contingent also made a special appeal to women to get pap smear screening for early detection of cervical cancer. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Sola Alfred.
You're watching the Hot 7 Nightly News. Stay with us. There's much more coming up after the break.